Hey everybody, welcome back to another wonderful episode of the Super Sleepy Gamer. Alright, today I'd like to discuss a game that's a little bit more recent, not a retro game, it's called Bloodborne. Alright, now, Bloodborne, the title is because you play as a character, a relative of Jason Bourne, from the Bourne Supremacy and all that. So it's like a continuation of that, so a spin-off of sort. This game was made, it came out from Software. That's right, From Software. I mean, Software didn't hatch this. It was from a company called From Software, so it was from. So, From Software. That's where it's from. That's what made it. Sorry if that's confusing. From Software has actually been making games similar to this for a very long time. Back on the PlayStation 1, I remember there's a farming simulation game. Was where you played a king who tended to his fields. It was called King's Field. Alright, and there was a couple for the PlayStation. It was really easy to die in those games because, of course, we all know growing crops is not easy. Farmers have a hard time with it all the time. So this king's trying it. He's a new king. He fails all the time. You die a lot. You get very frustrated. So they continued on with that series. They made a new one for the PlayStation 3 called Demon Souls. All right. Now, here's the thing. Demon Souls was similar. They took out some of the farming, but they made you die a lot. All right. Now, they decided to make sequels. But the sequels, they changed the name to Dark Souls. And the reason was because Demon Souls was exclusive to Sony. But Dark Souls was not going to be. It was going to be for multiple things. Now the problem was that Microsoft, because it came out for the Xbox, they have demons on their board of directors. So they were a little offended. They wanted them to change the name, so they did that. Alright, so now it's just Dark Souls. Alright? They cleared that up. Now, of course, Sony wanted them to still make an exclusive for them. So they wanted kind of a showpiece for the PlayStation 4. And that's where this comes in. Now, I won't spoil too much for you, but first thing I want to do is go over the cover. This is a character, potentially, of what you can look like in the game. This is his silhouette, and within the silhouette, it shows a town that you go into in the game. Now, here's the thing that the internet taught me. Alright, if you take the disc out and put like your two fingers right there, right in the circle, it looks like the guy's butt. So you can do that if you want. I don't want to do that because this is a fucking family show and I wouldn't fucking do that. Alright, we don't need that shit. We don't need somebody looking like they're flashing their asses to a bunch of people. Alright, that's not what the show is about. So we're not going to do that. Alright. So when you get to make your character, he considers himself a hunter, although honestly, as far as I know, you never kill any deer or anything like that in the game, but you play as a hunter, and the first thing that happens is, you start out, you don't have any weapons, right? And you go into this room, you're in some sort of hospital, and there's a fucking werewolf, right? And the werewolf he's chewing on, I don't know, he's eating something that's kind of gory, and you're a fucking hunter. You're not fazed by this, right? You got your bare hands. You're like, I'm motherfucking freaking Chuck Norris, I'm Bill Clinton, I'm everything, all combined into one godlike being. So you think you're just this fucking badass motherfucker, right? You're like, come on, werewolf, what you got, man? And you go up to the werewolf, you're like, you punch the fuck out of the werewolf, right? You're just like, and the werewolf is like, the fuck is this shit? And he bites your neck and he tears you out and he fucking kills you. So, you're not the badass you thought you were. Now, at this point, it's a little confusing because you wake up in this weird place. It's not the place you were at, and there's flowers everywhere. That goes back to the King's Field, how you used to farm and you used to grow things. But you don't have to grow this stuff, it's already there. So, it's a weird, mystical kind of place, right? And the weird thing is there's a doll. And the doll is dressed up as a woman, right? You don't think much of that because you're a normal, good human being. But you talk to another hunter that's there. He's been there for a very long time. He's gotten lazy. He doesn't want to do shit. it's sort of insinuated that he has done some dirty things with that doll. All right, so you don't want to touch that doll, but pardon me. He does sort of insinuate that I think he wants a three-way with you and the doll and himself. So that's a little freaky. I'm sorry, kids. I don't mean to throw that your way and phase you or anything like that. You still think you're a badass, and you're like, hey, Mr. Old Hunter, I'm not going to deal with this whole dying thing, all right? I'm going to go back and kick the shit out of that werewolf. So that's awesome. So you go back somehow and you fight the fucking werewolf, and this time you got a weapon. So you're like, you piece of shit, and you could die again, but you have to beat him. Beat him. Once you do beat him, you can leave that building, right? So when you get out of that building, you realize, you see that there's weird zombie-like people walking through the streets. It must be Memorial Day or 4th of July or something like that, because they're having a barbecue. You know, they're enjoying. They're cooking some meat. Everybody's out. They're enjoying themselves, but they look weird. Like I said, they're kind of zombie-like. There's things that looks very decrepit, very old. They call it Yarnum, I believe. See, here's the thing. That's actually a city in Florida. So you realize, oh shit, I'm in Florida, right? That won't do. So even though these people, they're not really doing anything bad to you, you're honestly in this game, you play the bad guy. They don't know what's coming. They just got these little pitchforks, and you got this giant. You're like, motherfucker. And he's like, what am I doing? And you kill them. You kill their dogs. They send their dogs after you, and you're like, I don't give a rat's ass. I don't care if this dog's. You can be even nice to the dog. The dog loves you, but no, you even find some in cages, and you're like, I don't give a shit. It's a dog. I'm gonna kill the fucking dog. So you kill the dogs, the poor defenseless dogs, in the cages. Alright, he's not supposed to fall. But, since he did fall, let's talk about him. This is Masterpiece Optimus Prime, or MP10. If you get him from Japan, they call the Masterpiece line MP. He is pretty much your perfect rendition of G1 Optimus Prime. Alright, I have him here today. He's a lovely figure. I recommend everybody to, maybe don't send your kids to college. Whatever you gotta do, buy him. So you're slaughtering a bunch of assholes, right? Now you're terrible. I mean, you just don't care. You're just destroying them all, right? Eventually, even you get to a place called Old Yarnum. There's people screaming from the roofs. They're like, "Stop it! We're human. Don't kill us." You know, it's hard to convince somebody that a Floridian's human. I just went right up to the top of that building. I pushed that motherfucker off the damn roof. All right, because he tried to get mercy from me. But anyways, eventually you do find one nice guy. One guy, he's not originally from Florida, so it was really nice to meet him. He's what I like to call him Puddle Monster, because you find him in a church, and he's just like a guy. You see his arms and his face, but otherwise he's just wearing robes that equals a puddle. Now, let me tell you something. You could have played any game or watched any movie. You could have lived the life. You might have a friend that you've had since you were just a wee child. Puddle Monster's the best guy you'll ever meet in your life. He is a solid friend. He will stick with you for the rest of your life. You will always remember him. He'll help you in so many ways. He helps everybody in town. If you bring him to him, he will help them. And my sad admission is that when I played the game, I sent somebody to that church, and that person killed Puddle Monster. And I had to turn the game off. I restarted. I played it again just so that I would not lose Puddle Monster. Alright, because that was the worst thing I ever did in a video game. I was heartbroken. Watch out for Puddle Monster. He's the best guy. You could best companion you can get. Doesn't matter. You watch Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon series. It's like that, but 18 times better. They're just great. You're great friends with him from once you meet him. Now, here's the thing. I've been to Florida, so you kill. I don't really think that it's a federal crime to kill people in Florida if they've been there long enough, because they pretty much lose. They're not humans much anymore. So you fight a lot of monsters, but my big disappointment is when I was in Florida, the biggest monster that I saw was a palmetto bug. So if you've ever been to Florida, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you've survived and you've got out, you probably know what I'm talking about. They're really huge. They don't even show up in the game. That was pretty disappointing. I guess they wanted you to be able to beat the game. The main thing that they want to do is they've emulated in the entire series like an abusive relationship, right? And what they did was they told all the video game reviewers out there and all the internet people, they're like, look, this game will kill you a lot, right? Now people will get really frustrated and annoying because we made it that way. We made it very abusive. It kicks the shit out of you. But what you do is we've got to shame these people who complain about it because we don't want to change that. We don't. It's hard to balance the difficulty. If you make it sound like everybody who can't beat it is a wuss, all right, that'll be great. Everybody will love it. And that way you'll say that, oh, it doesn't matter if you spend 6 hours getting super frustrated. Once you finally beat the guy, you'll feel really good about yourself. So it goes back to that kind of abusive relationship. You know, it's like, oh, you don't like me beating you? You don't like me treating you like shit? Well, it's your fault, you asshole. It blames you. All right, it's like, well, you know, if you rolled in the right direction, you wouldn't have been dead, you dumb shit. See, what happens is, if you die, when you kill the Floridians, you get their blood. Of course, that's Florida. You know what I'm talking about. And you can use that blood at the old hunter. And you can upgrade your weapons, do all that kind of stuff. What's frustrating is that if you get killed, you drop all the things you've earned. All right, that's you can get it back, but you have to make it back to where you died. But if you die on the way, you will throw your controller into the screen. It turns out that, you know, the hunter, the old hunter that's back at the place, he's been a Floridian for a very long time. He's retired there. The place that you're at actually is another part of Florida. He thought that you had sex with his doll. You don't have the option. So you don't have sex with the doll. And you're a normal person. So it's all a misunderstanding. You guys make up. It's a really happy, sweet ending. There's, you know, it's nice, especially for a game in Florida. It ends really nice. You get to leave, which is really the ultimate reward. You get to leave Florida, no longer being on the penis of the United States, and you can go anywhere else that's better. I would say I had a very good time. It was very nice killing Floridians. It feels really good. So I would say you could probably play this game, grind a bit. It takes time. Who cares? Lose sleep. It doesn't matter. You get bags under your eyes. So what? Who gives a shit, right? Especially if you're already married. It's just, what's she gonna do? Divorce you because you have bags under your eyes? So yeah, just play it. Oh, females too. Don't worry about it. The guy's an asshole. Who cares if you have bags under your eyes? All right. So yeah, I recommend playing it. It's a great game. You'll have fun killing Floridians. All right. Have a good night, everybody.